What up, you guys? It is your boy King Toasty back for another video. As you can see at the title below, I ended up quitting my 9 to 5 job. And I just kind of wanted to take the time to make this video to just explain why, what made me come to this decision, and stuff like that. So I'm kind of just going to go over that with you guys, just in case, I don't know, maybe somebody else is in this situation and they don't know what to do. And maybe they just want, like, I'm not giving any advice. I'm just letting you know my personal experience and what I started to realize. So, I'm gonna start off and say that I did put in my 2 weeks. I did not just up and leave. I did want to kind of keep a good relationship with this job, just because, like, I can't just say that it's the worst job I've ever had, because it's definitely not. But I just came to like different realizations and different ways I want to kind of go about stuff. So we ended up parting ways, but I did put in my 2 weeks notice and they were very appreciative of that. Like they even told me, like, if, stuff doesn't work out, feel free to come back. So, it kind of did feel good to have that, like, well, if stuff doesn't work out, I always have kind of a backup plan to go back if I need to. But that's why I kind of wanted to keep that good relationship. But I would say there is plenty of jobs that I have just up and left. I'm not gonna sit here and give you no 2 weeks if you're out here disrespecting me, and everything, and just like treating me like complete shit. So, um, what made me come to this decision is, honestly, I would say there's a few reasons. Like, I guess let me just kind of like go over the reasons. I'm not going to exactly say the place of my employment because I don't want to like throw them under the bus, but there is like certain problems that like kind of like just built me up to this point, even though I feel like I would have got to this point even if these things did not happen. I guess like the first one was just kind of like, I appreciate a raise. I understand there's a lot of people out there that do not get raises. But when I'm at a company for longevity, I feel like I'm here to grow. I'm here to grow. And that means pay as well. Like I'm not staying at a place to just be stuck at the same place. I'm here to grow. Even though if that's not my position, it's just in general, like financially and everything, like I'm here to grow as as a person, yeah. As an employee. There we go. But what it was kind of like the raise that they gave me. I ain't gonna lie, like, I understand that like certain companies they need to start crunching down and stuff like that. And but when it came to me, that was kind of like my first realizations when they told me my raise amount, because I think my raise was about 65 cents. When I heard that number, I was just kind of like I just processed in my brain, like, damn, like a year's worth of work that I was giving. Because my job's very physical. Like, it's physical. We're lifting stuff around, we're moving stuff, we're dealing in different environments. And I am in the medical field. So, like, we don't really, when it's like a blizzard outside or anything, like, we're not getting days off. Like, we're not doing anything like that. So, I just thought about the number and I'm like, damn, like a year's worth of work is like they see my value as a 65 cent more for the next year of work. And that was like kind of where I first started like, I'm like, y'all bogus. Like, y'all bogus. Like, that's just how I kind of felt about it. I was like, damn, like that just doesn't seem like enough for me. Cause like, I was at least trying to go to the next dollar up, like say like if I was, I'm not going to say exactly how much I was making either, but say if I was making 21 or $20 an hour, I at least wanted to be at 21, like I at least wanted to go up the next dollar. And I wasn't even starting at 20 exactly. I was at like 20 and some change. So I wasn't even asking for a full dollar, but I was asking for at least up the next dollar, that would have made me feel kind of good. So that's where it kind of started. And I would say that like over time, I just started to realize like, I don't know, when it came to any of my jobs, like I would say probably the longest I ever lasted at a job was probably like 3 to 4 years. Like that's kind of like my cutoff point. Like it's either one, like the job just stopped caring, about their employees, like stop caring as much about like, like I don't know how to explain it, like, trying to move you up, slowly but surely. And that was kind of what was happening with this job because I just hit over around like 3.5 years at this job. And that's my time commitment and everything. And yeah, I just felt like they just kind of like, it gets to a point where they kind of just stop caring about, like, they're like, well, this person's staying here anyway, so why do we have to keep sitting here and like upping it up, like, and showing that we care about them. So I kind of felt like it just got down this path. I'm not saying that like it was any like thing like my management, but just the company as a whole. This has definitely been a issue, not with just me as an employee, but I noticed that other people were making the same decisions as well. But yeah, so that was kind of like the first thing that like made me like realize. But then like, I would say that the second thing is like I would say I'm the youngest one at this job. I am the youngest one at this job. And there's older people that work there, doing the same job that I am. Red flag. Um, but of course, they've been there for a long time and they were getting paid more than me. Um, and I just started to realize that like they were giving me a lot more of the heavy lifting, like I was basically just getting more work than everybody else there. Not everybody. There's one other guy that's a little bit older than me, and he's like the trainer of everybody, but like he makes the most money, so they like kind of expect him to kind of do more. But I'm not. I literally am not. I think I was like either the lowest or the second up from the lowest. Um, when it came to pay and everything as well. But yeah, like so like it just started getting to a point where I started peeping like when it came to like certain things they would switch my route around, to do the harder stuff and everything. And I'm like, this is not fair. Like this is not fair. Like if somebody's getting paid more than me, I should be getting paid as much as them if I'm capable, more capable or as capable, but honestly more capable than doing the job than they are able to do. If you're setting me to go do heavier stuff, go do more stuff, like, take my time of the day, I should be getting paid accordingly. And that was another thing that I started to realize like, okay, they're steadily giving me all this heavy stuff or changing my route around because they know I love my route, but they'll change my route around. And to deal with some of the heavy lifting stuff. We also, the guy that I was talking about before that is a little older than me that makes a lot more money than me and the expectations are a little bit higher. Um, they his route is insane. I don't know. He loves his job. He loves doing this. I respect that. But his route it's more of like in the city and stuff of where I'm at. So it's like a lot more like my route's like more up north, so like I got like more drive time between like stuff, but his route's like in the city, so it's like do, like you're freaking don't get like 5 minutes in between deliveries. Like it's literally insane. So anytime that he would call off for the whole, like say if it was like a week, the whole week, they're giving nothing but me. Like I'm getting his route the whole time. I feel like if y'all are gonna be fair, that you should be sitting here and at least like kind of breaking it up, like maybe give me 2 days, give my other coworker like 2 days, because they know how crazy his route is, but they were literally just giving it to me because they know how capable of I am of doing it. But I'm like, again, if I'm capable of doing this and y'all see that, you should be paying me accordingly. So that's just like a few of the problems that like kind of just started like getting me on this mind, like of do I want to really do this anymore? Like, or is this really worth it and worth all my time? So that was kind of the things that kind of like, sat in the back of my mind. But of course, like, when we are built to understand, like, that like a 9 to 5 is the way to go, like, or go to college, get a career, like the corporate lifestyle. Like, we were built to like think that like that's really the only way for us. We're not, taught about like, unless you specifically go for like business and stuff like that. Like, we're not taught. Ooh, I'm so sorry. We're not. Ooh, there we go. Oh, okay. We are not really taught about living anything outside of that. Like we're always taught like You got to grind to get the money. You got to get the bills off, like, blah, blah, blah. And I was just have been so stuck in this lifestyle for so long. And I like started to realize, like, with all my bills, which, like, I could have like a smaller place, there's little stuff that I could probably be doing myself, to like make my life a little easier when it comes to a lot of that stuff. But also on top of that, some of this stuff is kind of stuff that I need, to be able to succeed, to be able to get around in like, my car and everything like that. And I started to realize like, wow, like all this time, that's something we cannot get back. But all this time that I am putting in and I'm barely making it. I am living check, the definition of check to check. I am living it. And that's when I started to realize, like, I'm giving all this time to sit here and barely make it. What sense does that make? Like, I'm like, something has to change. But I'm like, my brain was so wired to, like, like, I need to get a 9 to 5. So, of course, I stayed at this job. Because, like I said, it's hard to, like, leave a job where it's like everything's not crazy bad. Like, for all my previous jobs where um, it was like crazy. It was no question easily like I wouldn't even tell you about it 2 weeks. I will just gladly leave. But this job was like not like it was bad. It was getting worse. Honestly, it was getting worse at the end. But it wasn't as bad as a lot of like the place I worked. I would say that if I had to compare to all my other jobs, that this was the best job that I've had. Now saying that, um I started to like I feel like we're so like, we have social media, we have everything now, and it's like, I feel like all of us get into that thing where we're seeing all these people doing different things, but like making money on the internet, balling out, getting rich, like streaming, like all this stuff is going on around us that we're seeing on every day while we're sitting here and living our average lifestyles, barely getting by. But like I started to peep, like, like I said, my brain is wired to like a 9 to 5. Like this is the only way that I can get by, or otherwise I need to have a 9 to 5 to be able to get to the point I want to get. But when I realized, like, I was like, if I continue to do this 9 to 5, I will never get to where I want to get. I'm only getting by. And that's not changing. My bad. I'm about to sneeze, y'all. Oh, my nose is a little stuffy. But I realized like there's no way I can like get into a place where I could be just grinding it out. I've been working since I was 14 years old. And there's been nothing that I have done that has happened that has gotten me out of that rut of like just sitting here and yeah, like getting out of like, this hole of like constant bills, constantly trying to catch up. Like it's just got so overwhelming. And I'm like, it's hard to see, like, because even some people around me, like, they're doing well for themselves. And I'm like, it's so hard to see, like, why am I stuck here while everybody else that is a human being just like me is capable of like jumping out of that, like, or getting out of that, whether it is a 9 to 5 or not. But I started to realize like the people that are jumping, looking at the cliff and taking that jump and being like, you know what? I don't know what's going to happen next, but I'm going to believe in myself. I'm going to trust myself and also understand that it's okay to fail. I did not think about this stuff at like until I would say recently. Like I would say recently is when I started like I don't know, I don't even know how to explain it. Like it was just like a just a unlock. Like it was an unlock. I just kind of was doing research and watching videos of how people are making money, like, and of course, a lot of the stuff is like kind of scammy and everything. Oh, hope y'all like my Leaf Village headband. But, a lot of stuff is like scamming, and stuff like that. But I'm like, there's also people that are not scamming that took the jump with no look backs and they freaking succeeded because they believed in themselves. I never believed in myself. I never had many moments where I wouldn't even talk that down upon myself. Like, I'm not able to do this. I'm not able to do that. I'm not capable of this. Well, I can do this, but I got to do it while I have a 9 to 5. Like, like I got to do it like that. Not saying like head doing stuff while having a 9 to 5 is not like a smart idea. I'm just saying that everybody's story is different. But I started to realize, I'm like, if they are just as human as I am, if they are capable of doing this, then why am I not? Like, I have the cliff in front of me all the time, and I would always churn away. Like, I was too scared to make that jump. I was too scared. I was too scared of failing. I was too scared of people seeing me fail and judging me for it. And that was a major thing that I was scared of, is like the most important people around me. I was scared of disappointing them because they live in a lifestyle that you need to work a 9 to 5 to succeed, or you need to be going to college and getting a career to succeed. I was living around that. I was breathing that. And it just, like I said, after doing so much research, like I just kind of was sitting there like, wait, wait, wait. I would say that like the main thing that like made me make the decision of like quitting my 9 to 5. Now, don't get me wrong. I It's not like I'm like completely like not I'm just completely jumping in this with like no income coming. I do kind of plan on doing like DoorDash or like, kind of get me by and stuff like that. But I was like, the one thing that I cannot, that's holding me back, that I feel like in this biggest moment right now, is the amount of time I have. And when I say that, I mean the amount of time I have in a day. I was realizing I've been wanting to go to the gym. I've been wanting to improve my life. I've been wanting to go towards my goals. I was so burnt out from this job that I just didn't have it in me. I'm like, okay, maybe if I start waking up early in the morning, I can go to the gym in the morning. Couldn't. Tired. Couldn't even like, I'll get to that time in the morning, press the alarm off and say no, because I was just so exhausted, because I was sitting here trying to like fumble, like, because I stream on Twitch as well and everything. I was trying to fumble doing this job, and then also like I was trying to stream till late, and and like do all these, like, do videos and stuff like that, and had all these ideas flowing in me. But then I to look at the clock, it's 1 a.m. and I have to be up by at least 7:30, 8 o'clock at the latest. It's 2 a.m. It's 3 a.m. I'm over here trying to get this stuff done, and I'm realizing what is the big factor that's getting in the way for me trying to step up. And I started to realize that it was my job. It was my job. It was the main factor. Now, I'm not saying that people that you might be able to do it. If you're able to like sit there and like, fumble around doing a 9 to 5 while following your dreams, props to you. For me personally, I know myself more than better than anybody else. And I'm also not trying to live my life like everybody else. And that's what I had to realize, is like, okay, wait, I need to do this in my what I feel like is right for me, like read off my body. And that's where I was just like, I just need some kind of income where I can control when I go in, like when I do stuff, like when I work and stuff like that, so that I can like, wake up at early in the morning, go to the gym, go to the dog park and walk my dogs, and then get a lot of my stuff during the day, and then just make my money in the evening or in the nighttime, and then just basically start that process over. So that's why I was like, if I really want to evolve, if I'm really going to sit here and believe in myself for the first time, because this, honestly, in this moment right now, is the most I've ever believed in myself. This is the most I have ever sat here and be like, I can fucking do this. I don't care if I fail. I can go get a job anytime. If I fail, at least I said I tried, and at least I can sit here. The goal is still going to always be the same. I really want to be streaming. I really want to make content. I really love, like, this is what I love doing, hopping behind this camera, playing games, making content, doing YouTube videos. I want to do food reviews and stuff like that. And The goal is always going to be the same. But if I fail, that is okay. It's okay. It is okay to fail. Fuck with any of the other people that are sitting here judging me, like thinking like, wow, he quit his job. Like, wow, those motherfuckers are like in their life. Most of them are in a situation. I'm not trying to come too hard, but most of them are in a situation where they're grown as hell, not even making more than $30 an hour. And if so, it's just barely over $30 an hour. They're not doing anything for me. They're not paying my bills. And I like finally got to that point. It's like, I don't give a fuck what these people think. This is my life. This is one life that we have. And I don't care if nobody understands. I don't need to even explain what I'm doing. That's how I feel in this moment right now. I truly believe. And that's why I'm even making this video, is because I'm like, you know what? Like, I want to just document this process. I want to document like what I'm doing. Like, and I just want to like build. I don't want to do a 9 to 5 my whole life. I'm also bad. I'm also, the older that I'm starting to get, is like the more I'm getting worse at having people tell me what to do. Like that doesn't like define the fact. I know in my head I'm going to have to discipline myself. I'm going to have to plan my weeks out. I'm going to have to get up early in the morning, just like if I'm working in 9 to 5. There's no difference there. The work is probably going to be even more, but it's going to be doing something that I love, doing something that I believe in, doing something that I believe that I can do. Because I was never at this point for all of my life, all of my period of life working. I never believed that I was able or capable. I wasn't different. I wasn't like these people out here that were making content and getting rich and like doing all this stuff and doing the fun stuff they want to do. I'm not saying that like the money aspect is all it's about, but it's about doing what you love. This is one life. And I'm like, bro, like I see people out there that are like 40, 50, and they're just realizing what I'm realizing now. I'm like, I'm about to be 30 years old this year. I am glad that I'm like realizing or starting to open my eyes to a broader world of like, yes, that world is uncertain. It's not a 9 to 5. You just go to work, get your check, blah blah, and just go from there. It's a world of uncertainty. But I'm willing to sit here and take that jump, and that more willing of uncertainty makes me feel good of like, if I keep pushing, if I keep working, I can actually do this. Like, I can actually do this. I truly believe in myself. I truly want to keep pushing for this content, and I just need to have a little bit more control in my life. And like I said, if I fail, I fail. It's okay. Like, like I said, I have a backup plan of like, some people don't have a backup plan. It's like, which, hey, that's okay too. Like if you want to be able to do that, do it. But, so, it's like if you want to have a backup plan, if you want to do this while doing your 9 to 5, that's completely fine. You live your life exactly how you want to live it. That's exactly what's the most important in this moment. And that's what I had to come to a realization. I feel like this is just like a breakthrough for me before I got like turned 30 years old. Like this is like, okay, like, I feel like me hitting 30, like that's not old. It's not old. But it's like another like milestone in my life of like, why am I sitting here doing the same thing that I've been doing and it's not been working? It hasn't been working all these years. I can't tell you a time that I haven't been living check to check. Unless it was back in high school when I was living with my parents. That's about the only time. And even then, when I was getting paid, like, I wasn't the best like money spender at that time. But I understand that this is going to be a learning process. It's going to be a discipline process. But like, I also am going into this is like, it doesn't need to be perfect. I just need to start. I just need to go. I just need to do it. I just need to be okay with failing. And that's where my biggest stop was like, I'm afraid to fail. What's going to happen if I fail? But I looked at a lot of different situations in my lifetime and I'm like, there's a lot of times I failed at certain things. And I was okay. I adapted, I learned, I got into a different situation that wasn't as bad. So this is gonna be like, this is just my journey. I just wanted to come on here and explain my story to you guys because maybe there's other people out here that feel like this. I just wanted to give my perspective of like why I made that decision. Like I said, um, my job isn't the worst job, but it's holding me back in so many ways. So I'm like, you know what? I need to cut down on working, and like there's a plan that I have, that comes with that as well. But if that plan doesn't work, we will adjust, we will adapt, we will keep learning and coming back stronger. I expect to make mistakes. I expect to be learning a lot in this situation. So, but this is just kind of my story and I got to say like it was one of the best scariest but also best feelings to go into that job and be like, "Hey, love you guys. But this is my 2 weeks notice. I feel like they might have been a little confused, like, oh, like, okay, like, but they also wanted to see what's best for me, and that's what I appreciate out of like the manager side of it. Like my managers and stuff, they're very cool, like very chillax and stuff like that, in the sense of like, they weren't like, you're gonna leave, like, what are you gonna do? Like they weren't like that at all. And I know there's a lot of environments that are like that. And if it wasn't an environment like that, I would not even waste my time with the 2 weeks. I would be gone. But in this sense, I'm like, let me give myself some time, rack up a little bit of money. Like I said, I don't have a shitload of money, and stuff like that, but I have enough to kind of like just get me going enough to like just to start feeling what it feels like to like, not to discipline myself because it's going to be about discipline. Discipline is going to be a very big thing. I can't just sit here and be like, well, now that I don't have a job, I can just wake up late and blah, blah. No, 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 no. This will probably be the most work that I will have to do in my life. But when it's like knowing something that I'm building me, I'm building my brand, I'm building who I am, I'm building what I want to do, I feel like that's 100% worth it in the end. So but yeah, that's just my story, y'all. I will definitely keep we're gonna keep doing these videos, keep doing YouTube videos. And I'm gonna kind of just take y'all along and let you know how it goes. If I end up going keep doing this, if I end up going back to a job, like I want to kind of just document this whole process just in case. You never know, there might be somebody out there was people that I was watching, like doing research on and watching their process and seeing how they did it. And some people just jumped out and did it. Some people took their time and built up a lot of money, and stuff like that. But everybody's life is different and you got to do it based on what you believe is right for you. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. It's okay to fail. It's all right. It'll be okay. And don't ever give a damn what anybody thinks about you because guess what? At the end of the day, this is your life and we only have one. And I appreciate you guys for even like checking out and hearing me out and hearing this story. And I hope this can inspire to people to like follow their dreams, follow your dreams. We were so built into a society that wants us to just work, 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 work. And you can see how that has ended for a lot of people. And I watched a video of like some older folks like doing like what did they regret in life and stuff, and it's like that was very, very intriguing to see the answers that they had. It was very intriguing. So, but thank you guys so much. More videos coming, especially when we get out of this. The content is going to be going crazy. I have a lot of plans and stuff, but I'm just going to take you along with this journey, and I hope you will join me. I appreciate you guys. I hope you love yourself as much as I love you, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.